All right, so week 3, we're going to change the warm-up for this week, and moving forward, we're adding in a lot more elements that are going to help not only get you warm, get everything that we want working, nice and active, nice and ready, firing very well, and incorporating elements, more elements that are going to help with our ability to explode with those first 3 steps, our ability to accelerate. First, we're still going to go ahead and do our 3 to 5 minute jog bike. So we want to make sure you have blood flowing a little bit more before we start with the actual warm-up portion. So go ahead and do that. Next, we have leg swings. This we had in our last warm-up. So with the leg swings, hold on to a wall, make sure you're nice and stable. And we're just going to go 10 front to back each leg. 10 front to back each leg, and then 10 side to side. And again, hold on to a wall, make sure you're stable, and make sure that you're just moving at the hip. So there's no swing. I'm letting that hip joint move, okay? So 10 each way. Pause and complete those. Next, we have open the gate, close the gate, or our hip circles. So again, you're familiar with this one. We're gonna go ahead and do 10. Make sure when you're opening the gate, you go up, over, to the side. Try not to twist your whole body. Again, then you're not really actually getting into mobility, loosening up that hip joint. Hip health is crucial for hockey ringette athletes. So making sure that we loosen that up very well is important. Next, we're going to close the gate. So again, up, forward, back. My torso stays stable. I'm really trying to work that full range. We're going 10 per side. Ideally, we can keep that foot relaxed. There's no tension or flexion. Out, front, side. Good. Pause your screens. Complete 10 of those. You guys are very familiar with what we've done so far, so we won't take too much time talking through it. Just go ahead and make sure they're done. Next, we have lateral lunge. Again, this is just to get moving a little bit more. We're gonna do this while we're walking. You're gonna do 10 per leg as well. What this one is just a lunge to the side. I'm gonna load my right leg. My chest stays tall. Again, it's not load the knee, it's load the hip, and back out the other way, same thing. Switch, load, load, switch. So 20 total. Make sure you keep the chest up. So as I lunge into it, loading into the hip, my chest is staying tall. All right, very important. Start to stretch out some of those adductors, hips, everything that kind of works around the hip joints. 10 per side. Next, we're doing the walking figure 4s. So again, this is new, similar to the piriformis stretch, but now that we're moving a little bit better there, we're gonna start to be a little bit more dynamic with it. So take a couple steps, bring the heel up over the knee, and just push into it very gently. Couple more steps. Sit into it very gently. You'll feel the glute, everything along the side open up. So we're gonna go ahead and do 10 per leg. Just a couple steps. Sit, push, couple steps. You just wanna feel a little stretch. Okay, pause your screens. Go ahead and do 10 of those. So similar to what we talked about with the lunges, as I sit into it, I want to make sure I'm not flexing my back, right? My ankle's up at my knee. My chest is staying tall. I'm really getting a stretch in here. If that's flexed, you're gonna lose the ability to stretch. That posterior chain is gonna be loose, and then that's gonna be ineffective. So again, chest faces forward. Okay, next we have fast feet. So familiar with these, but before we get into our dead legs and our walking strides, I wanna make sure that, again, we're going high intensity. We should be nice and warm by now. So now we want to introduce full speed work. So this is fast feet. You're up on the balls of your feet. You're loading into the hip and you're moving your feet up and down, little baby steps over a couple millimeters. And then as fast as you can, right? You want to go over the course of a meter, moving those feet nice and fast. So we're going to go ahead and do 2 of those. I'll demo 1. And then you guys can do the other one on your own. So we're loading into it. Eyes are up. Again, my chest is forward. You can see my back's nice and tall in this position. And stop. Good. So pause your screen. Do 1 more. You can always grab water if you want. So our next 3 warm-up drills are acceleration specific drills. Fast feet is as well, of course. And what I mean by acceleration drills, they're designed to improve simple, fast hip flexion, extension, all right? So those first 3 strides, think about how you want to move on the ice. These are elements that are important to incorporate to improve that ability. So with the dead legs, we're familiar with this, but certainly one that you want to always have in a program. We're going to run over 20 meters with the dead legs. This is your little base pace, right? It's nice and relaxed. Nothing much to that little kind of bounce jog, literally going this far forward every single time. Every couple steps, drive that knee up and fast back down. So you're gonna do your strong leg the whole 20 meters, and then on the second attempt, you're gonna do the other leg. That knee lift is as fast as possible. Make sure it's just hip flexor up. See my foot stays relaxed, and I want hamstrings down. It comes right back down to the other foot. Doing this a couple times if you're having trouble is a good idea. And then going into your first set per leg. So nice and tall, as fast as you can. Drive that back under you. Good, 20 meters. We're doing this 2 per leg. I'm gonna demo the other leg, and then you guys can finish up with that last set per leg. This is as fast as possible. What you'll notice as I'm pulling my knee up, my body's not crunching. I'm trying to stay nice and tall. I'm not pulling with that knee. I'm keeping that knee in nice and tight to the body. Good. Okay, pause. Finish your last set per leg of this one. And that's gonna work on your ability to generate power and speed from the top of that knee lift. So that drive, speed from the top, being simple with hip flexion, and then aggressive with speed and power from the top of that knee lift. Next, we have walking strides. So this is a drill to work on late, fast, simple hip flexion. It's technically quite difficult, but one that I want to start incorporating and start getting you guys working on right away. It's a little bit like the front of a leg swing, where my leg's relaxed. I'm just driving that leg up with my hip flexor. That's really the movement, but the timing is the important part of this. So I'm gonna start with my feet flat on the ground, heels on the ground, hip width apart. I'm falling into it and driving that leg up, okay? That's one walking stride. Because you guys are new, you're just gonna do one leg at a time. So we're falling in, snap the leg up, reset, do the other leg. Ideally, you want to snap the leg up right before you feel like you're going to fall forwards. So falling in, snap, reset. It should just be hip flexor. Everything else stays nice and relaxed. The later and the simpler hip flexion is, the more you'll be able to get out of extension in your strides. So do one at a time. Definitely for the next few weeks at least. If you find that you're getting better and better at these ones, you can start stringing them together. We're going over 20 meters with this one, just like your dead legs. When you're stringing them together, you're trying to, again, make sure they're as late as possible and you're not speeding up over the 20 meters. So you're falling in, snap it up. Good. Okay, pause your screens, make sure you get 2 of those in. Next, we have skips for height. So this one is a little bit more power specific, but we'll work on exploding and using your hip extensors to do that. So hamstrings driven, send you up in the air. So you're gonna skip. You guys all know how to do that. Every single time you're trying to get up as high as you possibly can in the air. The key here is where the power comes from. So when you load it, you want all your power coming off of this front leg, using your hamstrings to drive you up as high as you possibly can, and then the knee comes through. You want to make sure you're not loading it and then pulling with the other leg. You're getting that extension from hammies. So we're going to do 2 sets over 20 meters. I'll demo this one here. Good, 20 meters. All right, you guys can pause your screens, complete that last set of skips for height. If you're doing this before your Tuesday session, which is the energy system session, you'll do these over 30 meters instead of over 20, just to get a little bit more reps, because you're going into a really high intensity, high power exercise. If you're doing this for a warm up for everything else, you'll just run through 20 meters. That's it for your new warm up. Make sure you get really familiar with all these exercises. So do these before every single session. And that's it.